Hi folks, in this video I'm gonna show you how to control the MX7219.matrix module. You can connect as many as you like together. Here you see two connected together and one single one in the back. You can even stack them up if you like. These modules are cheap online, only a few bucks. We will be controlling them using VMOS8266 small module and connecting to MQTT server. I'm using the free Hive MQ server here, but you can also create your own. I have a video about that. So with 4 lines of code we are able to connect to the MQTT server and send a message, I love MX7219, to the server, and immediately the module picks that up and shows it on the display 5 times. The MX7219 is sold with 4 8x8 modules connected together, but it's really easy to chain connect them or even stack them up, so there are various applications for such units. We'll be using Arduino to program these guys, and I promise to upload my code to GitHub so you can easily download it and try it yourself. So here we see the VMOS small guy, and you see that we are using pins D5, D7 and D8 to connect to the clock selector and the data pins on the matrix. And here you see the node MCU unit, and we also use pins D5, D7 and D8 to connect to the clock selector and data in, plus the ground and 3.3 volts. So if we look at this beautiful drawing, you can see that the ground connects to ground, VCC to 3.3 volts, and the clock pin on the matrix goes to D5. The selector pin, channel selector, goes to D8, and the data in pin goes to D7. And it's the same for the VMOS. Just the pin it has fewer pins, so that's the only difference. Okay, let's do some coding now. First, to set up our board, we need to install the Arduino ESP8266 for additional boards, and that you can see on this page. So we will go to Arduino, preferences, paste in this link here, and then we can go to boards and admin and search for 8266, and then we install it like this. Now we can select our card by going in here, card, and select node MCU, the 12E module, and then we select the port, which is this USB to UART, and compile the test, this basic sketch, just to see if we can connect to our device. We need 2 libraries for our project. One to talk with the MX7219. We start with that one. We go to library, search for MD_max. Here we see that, and we select the newest version. We can also click here just to see the page which has all the documentation about this library, and here we have the API for the library. We will look into that a little bit later, but we'll start by installing this one. Then we need the pub sub library to talk to MQTT server, and we will be using the pub sub client by Nick O'Leary. You can also click on the more info to see the documentation and install newest version. So the next step is to go in and look at the example in Arduino for the MD Max. We will select the one with ESP8266. It is an example which shows how to create a web server on the 8266 and access it to display a message. It has all the basics that we need for our app. So it mentions how to connect pin D5, D8 and D7 like we have already done. So if I run this sketch, I will show you how it looks like. If we look at the documentation, we can see that there are different types of hardware. We have Parola, we have the generic, and we have IC Station, which is the module that we are using. So if we change the code to use IC Station instead of Parola, we got the text to look right. So let's go through the final code here. After we included our libraries, we use the constructor of the MX72 library. We put in D8 as the CS pin, and these are the max devices 8. In my example, you can have 12 or 16 or whatever. What we do after we have initialized the library, we only have like 2 calls here in the setup. We call begin, and then we call set shift data in callback, which is the function that scrolls the text basically. So that's all that the MX library is doing. It is looping through our message here, our current message, and showing each character. If there is a new message available, we will copy the new message to the current message, and if set the show counter to 0, and if we have shown the message 4 times, we will just set the message to empty string. And now to the pub/sub part. Basically it is rather easy because we are using some open source MQTT server. If you Google free MQTT server, you will get the Hive MQ server. Are you new to MQTT? We host a public Hive MQTT broker to make it easy for you to experiment with MQTT messages. So I have also my own MQTT server, and I have a video which you can see in my library how to create your own MQTT server. But to make it simple, we are just using this this free server here. So the MQTT concept is very simple. You publish some message to the server, and other can subscribe to that message. The pub/sub client is here. We give the URL of the server. Port 1883 is the standard MQTT port, and we give it a callback that is called each time a new message is received, and then the Ethernet client here, the Wi-Fi client. So here we define the pub/sub client, and if we look at the setup here in the loop, so after we have got our Wi-Fi connection and our scroll text function here, we check if we are not connected to the server, we will reconnect. And in the reconnect function up here, we will loop until we are connected, create some random seed to get a random number to add to our client that is connecting to the server. print out that we are attempting MQTT connection with this ID. And if we can connect with this client ID here, I'm just using the new message buffer. Maybe I should have used another variable, but okay. We print out we are connected with this ID, and we put MQTT connected into our current message that starts to scroll on our MX7219. And then we subscribe to this topic. It's called message. So every time something with this topic is posted to the MQTT server, we will get it in our callback routine, which is here. So what callback does, it gets a payload with some bytes, copies it into the new message buffer and sets the length byte to 0. We get the bytes and the length, and then we set new message available to true. And when we set new message available true, it will pick up in our loop here that we have a new message, copy it into the current message and starts looping through it. So this is all the magic. And finally, to test our solution, we will go to the MQTT browser client, which is part of the public MQTT broker from HiveMQ. We will just use the default host and client ID, connect. And now we can try our topic message. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Publish this, and I will show you that it shows up on our MX7219. Thank you.